In the sort of public sector work that you're involved with, is there an absolute resistance to innovative technology if it isn't the cheapest?
Like I say, in the public side, it comes from what is going to protect my job, basically. If you do it the way it's always been done, how can you be criticized? If you step outside of that normal, what's expected process, and it doesn't work, now what? So I think it's changing. It's changing very slowly, but it has to. I mean, that's the way of the future.
But how often do those procurement teams see the end result and then compare that to the start and go, oh yeah, if I'd have done that better, maybe it wouldn't be 50% more at the end? Then there's little sort of, that accountability. It's, I've procured it, now it's your turn.
Yeah, and I mean, that doesn't happen enough, and there's way too often politics that are driving the presentation of results rather than, a real effort to see what was better.
Just reflecting on that, I think we've got two potential projects that we're looking at right now where they're both public procurement, one in the US, one here, and we're actually being pushed by the public client as a potential solution, because they're seeing demands on them to deliver high performance, low carbon. Like there's other things pushing them, and so they're like, well, how do I make sure I achieve that without risking? So it will be interesting to see how that starts to drive that, because we won't achieve those results if we don't start thinking outside the box a little bit.
Procurement can really be used as a tool to help, not just as a way to get started. If done properly, if given the right time and you ask the right questions in the first place. Like you say, decarbonisation and things like that, that's what drives value for us as an industry now, not lowest cost.
Right.
And that's what we should be looking at a lot more.
So is there a question of changing the definition of value at the procurement stage?
Well, it's not just changing the definition of value. There's been plenty of definitions of value. It's helping procurement people understand how you then procure for value, which is a bit of a throwaway term that we use far too often in the UK, because it still ends up being lowest cost. But it's about understanding that procurement doesn't mean 90% score has to be on price.
Yeah, in the federal government, it's procurement is part of their performance indicator.
Yeah.
If that's part of their focus and what they need to achieve in any fiscal year, then that drives that as well, right? Where it supports that higher cost.
But it is a massive culture thing. I've procured a lot of stuff in my career, a few £1 billion worth of stuff in nuclear, and none of it was on lowest cost, and all of it was a battle with directors and executives who didn't understand why, and I never understood why they would want to drive a first of a kind plant. You've got no idea how much it's going to cost, so why would I try and guess what the lowest cost is in day one?
I think on that, and reflecting on the previous conversations there, delivering innovation on a project, it comes down as well to the fundamentals of change management as well. The whole team has to be on board from day one. They've got to go on the same journey and have the desire to see that outcome. So I think it really speaks to what was said before about the communication with the team and the collaboration. I think the architect has a big part to play in driving that sometimes, but it really depends on the individual team's dynamics.